What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to break down a topic that a lot of men struggle with, which is sexting. Specifically, I'm going to show how you can ease into it and overall just do it in a smart and progressive way so as not to creep her out or make yourself come off as thirsty, which unfortunately is what happens to most men, but actually gets her excited to meet you, builds investment, and ultimately skyrockets your probability of sex during the date. So there are basically 5 components that separate good sexting from bad sexting. Good sexting is very smooth and progressive. For the girl, it should never feel like, whoa, like where the fuck did this come from? Every message you're sort of testing the waters and you're just moving things a little bit forward, so that it's not like one text is drastically different from the other text. And unfortunately, the mistake a lot of guys make is, they'll be talking about something random, and they'll be like, oh, I think this chick is DTF, I'm gonna sext her. And they'll be like, so what do you like to do for fun? And the girl will be like, oh, I like to travel and read books, what about you? Be like, I like to eat pussy. And they'll be like, whoa, like even if the girl is super into it, it just feels like it came out of nowhere, which does not turn her on, and also just lacks social calibration. The second thing is, of course, good sexting should turn her on. So a lot of guys, unfortunately, when they sext, they write in a crass or immature way, or they skip all the details and just jump straight into it. So for example, a message that will not turn a girl on, or at least won't turn most girls on, are like, I want to fuck you really hard until I come all over your face. That's just, yes, most girls enjoy being fucked hard, and a lot of girls enjoy facials, but girls really need the build up. So for example, a much better sex would be like, when we get inside my apartment, we'll split a bottle of wine, staring into each other's eyes. Then I brush past your hair and pick you up, carry you to my bed, slowly kissing down your neck, kissing down your thighs, until I make my way down to your nipples. So it just kind of builds on it. Very, very gradual, very progressive. If you want to get an idea of the kind of shit that turns girls on, read 50 Shades of Grey. It's a pretty good example. The book doesn't start off with, and I was fucking the shit out of her for 20 minutes. It just doesn't go like that. There's a lot of build-up, and girls really need that build-up, that anticipation for them to get turned on. So think about it another way. If you're on a date with a girl, most girls are not going to get turned on by you just like whipping your dick out within 30 seconds and saying, yo, I'm going to put this shit inside of you. Even if you have a nice dick and the girl's super horny, it's a little too much too fast. They really like the build-up, the sexual tension, the eye contact, the little fucking hand touching, all that shit. They like that build-up, so the eventual payoff is a lot better. And it's the same kind of principle that applies to sexting. After that, we got good sexting should be calibrated. So basically what that means is, if a girl is giving you signs that she's not into this or this is moving too much too fast, you don't just keep pushing past it. Again, this is a mistake a lot of guys make. A girl will give them hints, because if you're doing it, what I said in the first point, in a smooth and progressive way, you're slowly building up to it. And if a girl's not into it, there should be signs along the way. And at that point, you pull back, and then maybe you try again a little bit later. Now, of course, some girls are just not going to be into sexting. Like some girls just don't really like the concept. Don't feel like you have to sext. I also think this is a mistake that some guys make. They feel like they have to get the girl to sext, to really lock it down. But that's just not necessary. I would say nowadays, a solid 80% of the girls I hook up with, there's really zero sexting that happens in the text messages. It's not a necessity, but of course there are certain advantages to it, like it does screen the girl very hard. It makes it extremely hard for you not to get laid during the date, and just, you can also make sure that you and the girl are sexually compatible. For example, I like, girls who are submissive, who are into some kinky shit, and if a girl is super vanilla, I can kind of figure that out with the sexting. Another thing we got is good sexting gets her to invest. I think this is a very common intermediate mistake. A guy really learns how to write in a way that turns girls on, but they just fucking keep going and going. So they send a big sext, they get a positive reaction from the girl, and then they send another big sext, and they get another positive reaction, and they just keep going and keep going. But that's not what good sexting looks like. That's what average sexting looks like. Good sexting, it should be tit for tat. So you invest in the conversation, and you say something that turns her on, and then you get her to invest in the conversation and turn you on. So it should never look lopsided, like you're doing 90% of the work. It should be much more like 50-50. And the last and probably most important thing with good sexting is that it leaves her hungry for more. I think this is another very common intermediate mistake, is the guys start getting good reaction because they've learned how to write properly, they calibrate it, and they just keep going and going and going. which is good initially because it paints a picture in the girl's mind. But then if you give away the whole ending, the girl is much less motivated to meet you. Like you've already given her, whole idea. There's no more mystery left. There's no more intrigue. So the girl's like, okay, that was hot. She probably masturbated to it. Like, but why would she meet up with you at this point? It's like kind of like, well, I already know what's going to happen. There's no mystery here. So I'd probably rather meet up with a guy, there's a little bit of that intrigue. So good sexting should always leave the girl hungry for more. I'm a big believer in not giving away the ending. So typically what I'll do is I'll get it going, I'll get her interested, I'll get her investing, and she'll say, please tell me more. And I'll say something, do you want me to just talk about it or show you? And basically I use the investment I get from sexting to solidify the meetup, and then, I fucking sext her in real life with my dick. Next, let's take a look at an example of a good interaction I think really just drives all these points home. So this was a chick who I matched with on Hinge. On there, the conversation was super plain, just basically get to know you stuff. And she was taking, I remember, a while to respond, so I wanted to move it over to text. So I basically gave her my number and I said, text me. That's something I do a lot nowadays when I feel like a girl's on the fence to see if she's serious or not. And so she messages me, and this is where this picks up. So she messages me her name, and I say, hey, what's up? So starting off super, super chill, super slow. She says, how's your night been? Just got back home. So I say, good, just finished a late night workout, looking nice and fit for our date. So slowly moving it forward, I'm not gonna say, good, just finished a late night workout. Now I'm strong enough to really fuck the shit out of you. That would be like way too much. She says, awesome, I like muscles, sends me one of these, and then it says, I can't sleep. So this gives me a good opportunity to sexualize a little bit further. So I'm building on the previous text. I say, hope I'm not keeping you up with thoughts on my sexy muscles. She says, lol, nope, it's not that. I slept in today, so my sleep schedule is way off. So what she's doing here is she's moving sideways. She's not directly moving back, so I don't need to, take a step back, but I need to move sideways with her. So I say, I've been there. Are you generally a night owl? She says, yeah, I totally am, but tomorrow I want to wake up early to enjoy my day off. So again, now we're moving in the sideways direction. I say, good, I am too. So I'm using this little thing as a way to qualify her, like, good. Like, okay, you pass my test. She says, awesome, maybe we can have late night convos. And then so I see this as an opportunity to move things forward again. I say yes, and some late night cuddles. So moving it a little bit forward, I'm going 10%. If I said something like, yeah, and some late night fucking, that would be like 80%, and that wouldn't be good. She says that all depends on how her date goes. So that's a little bit of a shit test. She's like, oh, well, don't get ahead of yourself. But I'm going to use this as an opportunity to actually flip it on her and almost qualify her. So I say, of course, little spoon privileges must be earned. And here she doesn't really understand what I'm getting at. She says, but I want to be like Spoon. Trying to say little spoon. So I say, like Spoon, question mark. She says, little spoon. So I say, yes, I'm in for you. She says, oh, I need to earn the privileges. Let's see if I can. So basically what I did here is I flipped the whole thing around on her. Like she has to be the one that earns my cuddles, not the other way around. And then, so here I realized that she didn't have that many good pics on her Instagram. on her Hinge. So I wanted to make sure that she was attractive. So I asked for her Instagram. Typically, if I know the girl's hot, I will not do this. So that was the reason I did that. I asked her for her IG. She gives it to me. I add it. And then on there, it says Sex and Dating Coach. So going off that, she says, is that really your job? And that's a question I will commonly get. So I say, it is. She says, must be an awesome job. So why are you on a dating app? And that's a question I will also commonly get. And what I found is the best response is to meet a cool girl I have chemistry with. I find that works pretty well. And she says, so you're like Mad Hussy. I love him. That's also something I've been getting quite a lot lately, even though I'm really honestly nothing like him. And I say, lol, I've gotten that before. So again, this is just pretty standard stuff. We're kind of moving sideways here. I kind of have to do that in order to ultimately move forward. She says, so what's the greatest dating advice you can give someone? Like top one. And I'm not going to fucking, be her dating coach and like fucking give her advice. That's just going to derail the whole conversation. So I'm just going to use this to build a little bit more intrigue and then move things forward. So I say, want me to give away my secrets already? She says, yes, help a girl out, lol. And then I use this as an excuse to kind of dig. So I say, has this girl been struggling? So she says, not really. I stopped dating about a year, getting back on the horse now. I say, yeah, I didn't think so. She says, you didn't think so? This girl is just not really understanding what I'm trying to get at. I say that you are struggling. She says, yeah, but down here it's tricky. I've experienced guys either wanting sex or a full-on relationship after one date. So basically what she's getting at is, yeah, these guys, they either just want to fuck me once and bounce, or they want to, they're just become too clingy and attached. That's really what she's trying to communicate that. So What I'm not going to do here is I'm not going to, try to qualify myself. What I think something that might be tempting for a guy to do would be like, oh, well, don't worry, I'm not like that. But that would be the wrong move because you're actually qualifying yourself and you're saying that you're not like that. What you want to do is you want to show that you're not like that. So I say, I can imagine, don't worry, I hate sex. So I'm mildly trolling her here, but it's in a way that's going to get the point across. She says, I love sex, LOL. And again, I really like this message to say, don't worry, I hate sex, as long as it's done in obviously sarcastic way, because that sharp contrast will get the girl to say, I love sex. So basically, it's like some inception shit. Like I'm putting the idea in her head, and then she's going the other way, and she's saying, oh, I love sex, and then I can build on that. So I say, oh, really? She says, yeah, it's amazing. You can have sex when you're happy, excited, bored, sad, stressed, whatever, except when you're hungry. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm getting her to sexualize on me, which is always going to be a lot more effective than if you're the one sexualizing. I say, tell me more. She says, why, if you don't like it? And I say, for informational purposes. So yeah, so just kind of being fun and flirty here. She says, oh, I see, it's for your job. Well, sex is pretty fun. So then I'm going to sexualize indirectly. So I'm going to talk about it in like a third person type of way. I say, what about spanking, hair pulling, maybe a bit of choking? And she loves it. She says, yes, yes, and yes. Affits also make it more exciting. So what we're doing here is I'm moving forward, but I'm not going straight into sexting her because the conversation has been pretty platonic so far. So I'm talking about sex in the third person, which really takes the pressure off because we're just talking about it. I'm not saying, I'm gonna choke you, I'm gonna fuck you, I'm gonna spank you. I'm saying, what if, hypothetically, how do you feel about this? Which is just, again, it's the same. You almost get the same point across, but there's less pressure on the girl. It's just less intense. I say, what's your favorite? She says, outfit, all black, with high knitted boots. So now we're going straight up into, kind of sexual fantasy type of shit, which is what I like to do. I say, I like that. I have a few ideas on how to put those boots to good use. So I'm baiting her into asking me more. And she says, but it'd be torture for you since you don't enjoy sex, but enlighten me. So she's kind of fucking with me a little bit also. I say, like pinning you down to my bed and sliding my cock deep inside of you as you wrap your legs around you. But yes, we shouldn't be having those thoughts. So here, I kind of move pretty forward. I go maybe 25% forward. But then also, I ended off with, but yes, we shouldn't be having these thoughts, which is something I like to do. Like, no, this is so wrong. We shouldn't be doing this, where the girl's almost like the one that's trying to convince me to be the one that sexualizes. She says, I'm not the one that hates sex, you are. I can think about it all day, which is exactly the kind of message I want. Now she's being the one that's like, I'm being a little coy, and she's like, yeah, sex. I say, like maybe about me bending you over, grabbing a fistful of your hair, and so give her a little bit, bending you over, grabbing a fistful of your hair, but I don't give her the ending. I just build it up. Again, lots of intrigue, just kind of getting her going, but I'm not giving away the ending. She says, and what? And then I said, we don't want to ruin all the surprise now. So yeah, now I could have gone a little further here. It wouldn't have hurt for me to build on that a little bit more and then do a takeaway. But at this point, I felt like I had a lot of build up. So now I'm going to use this, this intrigue that I created to solidify the date. We don't want to ruin all the surprise now. And then she says, how's your night going? So now she's asking me about my night. And from there, it was really straightforward. The rest was mostly logistics to just set up the date, built a lot of intrigue with the sexting, kind of got her in the mood. And then from there, it's pretty straightforward to just set up the date. And that's basically Sexting 101. If you're watching this video, I assume that you're probably interested in improving your overall text game as well, or just getting some more matches on Tinder. So make sure you also check out our Ultimate Introductory Guide to Getting Laid Online. It's a free ebook, and we're going to link it in the description below. Also, make sure you stay tuned for the next video. I'm going to break down how you can get laid during the coronavirus, along with plenty of examples to walk you guys through everything you need to know. It's going to be an interesting one. So hit that subscribe button right now. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and until next time.